Hey everyone, welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. I'm Helene and I'm your host tonight. Yay! So thank you for joining us. It is Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And let's say thank you to Revolution Gelato for being our sponsor of our live talks this month. One of our newest sponsors, if you haven't tried their ice cream and their little neat little ice cream cake things that they've designed. We had the mint one at Piedmont Environmental Refuge recently because they donated them to the refuge, which is fantastic. They're delicious. Whole Foods typically has Revolution Gelato. They have some amazing flavors. So definitely check them out. And of course, if you like to win prizes, I mean, really, do you like to win prizes? Because we like to give them away. Just go to virtualvegfest.com and go to the contest tab, and you'll enter our wish pond where you can do things like subscribe to Virtual Veg Fest on YouTube and go like other Instagram of all our sponsors like Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, Orgain, Follow Your Heart, Revolution Gelato, Terra Seed. Who did I forget? Hodo Foods? I think I forgot Hodo Foods. All seven prizes we're going to give away at the beginning of next month. At the end of this one, seven prizes. You get prize packs shipped to your home. Or Cinnaholic. I said Hodo. Cinnaholic was the one that I forgot. So Cinnaholic, I mean, you can win. You just have to enter our monthly contest. And we're going to do that every month. And of course, we've got in person events coming up. October 3rd is Asheville Vegan Fest. October 9th is Nashville Veg Fest. And October 16th and 17th is Chattanooga Veg Fest. Super excited to be in person. Safely, we are masking up. And we ask that you do the same because we don't want people to get sick. But today, we're going to talk to Peter Goldstein at, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting, but we did it. Health. Right, Peter, is that it? It's like I don't know why I have a mental block, but Peter's going to come on and talk about it. There's a survey that you must take. Well, I'm not going to tell you have to do anything. You can take. It would be really appreciated if you did, because the goal is to get to like 1 million people in February. And how do we do that? Well, we do things like this. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure to put them into the comment box, which I just opened to make sure that I can see it. And let's start. Hey Peter, we did it. Health. I
We
don't know.
did it,
We
that
did.
help.
I don't know what I was like. Mental bug. You did it. We did it. I mean, you
I
know
did
what?
it.
In the end, it is. It's I, we, you. We all did it, but you
We
need to go to we did it. Health to do it.
well, yes. So thank you, Halim, and absolutely, we did it, that health. And really, the point of it is to show the rest of the world how many people are healthy from a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And it's just amazing to me that I know there's millions and millions of people, but yet there's no statistics. There's nobody talking about it. And this simple one question survey at We Did It Health will help us build a scoreboard. You can go on the site. We have a little ticker that shows how many people have taken the survey. We also list out all the ways people have benefited. So it's just really important. I know that people, the rest of the world needs to know that this is such a powerful solution, and it certainly is a solution for animal justice and well-being, as well as for the planet, but certainly for all of us to be healthy and not to have to suffer so much with all these aches and pains and heart disease and diabetes and all the things that so many of our friends and loved ones are suffering with.
Oh, that's no joke. 100% agree. And like, let's talk about you for a few minutes. Like, who is Peter Goldstein? So people can learn, like, what's your past? What have you worked on? And what brought you to this? And outside of the fact that you want to help people with their health and that part.
Right. Well, thank you. So going way back, I actually was born in Transylvania in Romania, and
Really?
I'm not really a vampire, and I don't suck blood. I'm vegan, so we're all safe. But and I lived most of my life in Cleveland. Currently, I live in Colorado, beautiful Colorado. Um, for much of my adult life, I had a technology business. I did software development for small, high growth businesses. And that allowed me to express and enjoy my passion for creative problem solving. So who I am is probably one of the big passions I have is to bring solutions and think outside the box and figure out how to make things better. And so I retired from that business, and probably about 6 years ago, I started looking at wellness and trying to do something as my contribution work in wellness. And I found I noticed whole food plant-based lifestyle. I was vegetarian at the time, and I had a friend who's a doctor, and or he's now retired, but he knew about whole food plant-based lifestyle. He got his patients to eat whole foods plant-based. He actually partnered up with a chef who provided 28 days of prepared meals, and all his patients got better. I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, just as expected, I guess, but miraculously amazing. Everybody's blood pressure and triglycerides and weight and meds, people started downsizing their meds and getting healthier. And it's just like, wow, this is incredible. And so since then, I've been trying to find how I can contribute to the movement. And, of course, I'm a business person. I've been in technology, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health coach. I'm not a chef. So my contribution is from the business side to grow the movement. And I'm not being an insider. I am bringing what I can to growing the movement. And that's my work currently. We're done a couple other things with this flow. This has morphed over a couple different versions of the business. I thought I could replicate what my friend Dr. Feinsinger was doing and get other doctors to prescribe a healthy meal, and that was tough. And then I looked at just helping get more information out, which we did with Hippocrates Docs. Hippocratesdocs.com, where we did a couple different projects. One of them was just one thing for health, where we asked 30 different plant-based doctors if they were to ask their patients to just change one habit for health, what would it be? And we recorded a whole series on that. Then we did last fall, and this is still available, and I would encourage people to watch this. We created a summit in collaboration with PCRM, and that's at Optimal Health, RadiantHealthDialogues.com. So RadiantHealthDialogues.com, where we interviewed 14 different doctors around breast cancer. So we have a breast cancer summit. October is breast cancer month, so it's coming up again, and that's available. But all that really brought me around to how tough it is to get an audience, and how people just don't understand how powerful this diet is, and so talking with friends and family, I noticed that people would glaze up. It's like if I start talking about about some of this research, they say they look like they were thinking that I'm talking about some wacko doctor in a cave in the middle of the ocean somewhere. And so it's like it occurred to me that people just don't understand how powerful this is, and they don't understand how many people are doing it. So so there comes the scoreboard. Let's create a scoreboard, and let's show the rest of the world that this is real, that people are totally benefiting. I mean, how cool would it be to have a scoreboard that says 583,000 people reverse type 2 diabetes, or 200,000 people bypass surgery? I mean, wouldn't that be like totally powerful to be able to show the world that we have those kinds of outcomes? So
it would be amazing. And visual, a lot of people are visual learners. They need to see something.
mhm.
And and there's no reason when you take the survey to like not tell the truth. I mean, it's just not set up in a way that you would be like, well, let me just click this, even though it's never been my outcome. Like,
Yeah,
what
right.
benefit would you have from that, except
Ex-
except for spammers, which don't do that.
Yeah, we're not creating that.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's a simple scoreboard. It's really easy. It's one simple question. that says, how have you benefited? And it's a multiple choice question. Check all that apply. And then for people who would like to tell their story, we have an opportunity for a success story, and people can tell their success stories and share that. And so that's my story. That's what I'm doing, and I'm excited for the scoreboard. I'm excited to show the world that this is powerful, and bring more people into the vegan world and plant-based world, and um, and and so we can grow this movement. Because honestly, for me, one of the things that I just puzzles me so much is that it's for 40 years now we've known the power of food as medicine. It was literally 40 years ago. I was talking with Nelson Campbell the other day, and he was telling me that he remembers 40 years ago his dad, Dr. Campbell, came home from work, and he was all excited that he found a solution for cancer. He scientifically proved that cancer cells thrive on animal protein and die from plant protein. 40 years ago. So this truth has been building for 40 years. Dr. Greger, by this time, he's probably reviewed over 100,000 studies that show the power of nutrition. And yet, I don't think 1% of the world really knows it and practices it. So it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity to stop a lot of suffering, not just for animals, but for people too.
And the planet.
And of course, the planet. My goodness, yes.
Planet.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you use the word diet. I like to use lifestyle
I do too.
because diet implies you do it for a little while and
Hmm.
then you can go back to where you were before. And then you
Yes,
just go back to literally like where you were before and maybe worse off.
exactly.
So, lifestyle means you're making these changes for your life,
Absolutely.
right? Like the lifestyle medicine,
Yes,
which can help change your health, the planet, and also save the animals. Because
absolutely.
it's not just what you eat; it's your exercise, it's how you treat your body, it's the foods that you eat as well. Because I mean, I hope yes, it's great if you're vegan and you're like eating potato chips and fried French fries and vegan hot dogs. However, that'll get you sick. That's not going to keep you from getting sick because that's a lot of processed food and oil. That's not healthy for you. Good in moderation, but a lifestyle for veganism or whole food plant-based is actually eating healthy foods, limiting your salt, your oil, your sugar in your daily diet, adding exercise to your daily routine. I
Yes,
know it's not easy. I know everyone's really busy, but if you add it and you make it a habit, you do it.
absolutely. And stress management and sleep,
Yeah.
and there's a
Yes.
couple other things that are important as a lifestyle, and to make us happier, healthier, live longer, um, suffer a lot less.
Yeah, like Dr. Saray Sanchik, who did Code Blue with Dilip
Hmm.
Barman, who we were talking about before we went live. Dilip Barman is the executive producer of Code Blue. Fantastic movie. Dr. Stanchik has MS, which guess what she did with lifestyle medicine? She doesn't have symptoms of MS anymore.
It's amazing.
It's
Absolutely.
truly like almost miraculous, and that's from food
Yep.
and exercise
Food and
and
exercise. Yep.
yep. And it's just I mean, think about I mean, why wouldn't you? But then again, why wouldn't you like get a shot that can keep you from dying? I mean, why would you? I mean, what we're saying is harder than that. So I mean, choose the foods that you're going to eat and eat wisely, and you can really improve your health. And wherever you're at, we're not saying like you need to go and jump ship and go over to veganism like tomorrow and get rid of every single thing on your fridge. That would be fantastic if you're able to do it, but I understand like the need to progress into your changes so they stick.
Absolutely. Right. And neither of us are doctors, so we're not here to give medical advice. But
Correct.
it also depends on where you are in your health. I mean, somebody, and I've heard plenty of stories where somebody was scheduled for bypass surgery for a week later, and they changed their lifestyle and they never needed to have bypass surgery. So, if somebody is scheduled for bypass surgery, they need to have hope for an alternative.
You- a funny story. I think I heard, which doctor was it? Dr. Esselton. I think it was. I wasn't vegan yet. It was on Long Island. It was at a like Thanksgiving type thing. And they would bring speakers in. And I really didn't know who he was back then. And he did this talk, and he's about reversing heart disease as well
Absolutely.
As Dr. Gergers, as Dr. Badul, as Dr. Campbell, especially. And he was like, well, to reverse heart disease, you have to like pretty much eliminate like all fats. And he was like, and avocados, you can't eat avocados. And I was like, well, that's out for me. I was like, at that point, I was like, I can't eat avocados. I just learned to love them. I was like, now if I had heart disease, I can't eat avocados. I think that might have changed since then, but it was just a funny thing to like focus in on for me. And but people are living and have no signs. Like extreme is cracking your chest open. Extreme is not eating plant-based.
Exactly. Right. And it is Dr. Esselstyn. And the amazing thing is that he's done a study with 200 patients who were critically ill with heart disease. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. Pretty much everybody who stuck with the diet reversed their heart disease. I saw a woman give a testimonial, tell her success story at an event a few years ago. And she was actually part of his original study. Originally, I think he did about 30 people in the study, and she was part of that. And she was, her cardiologist gave up on her, and she was in her 60s, and she was sent home to die. But she went to Dr. Esselstyn, and she changed her lifestyle drastically, radically. No avocados. I mean, this is probably the most extreme version of a whole food plant-based diet lifestyle. And she stuck to it. I saw her do her success story. It must have been 25, 30 years later. This woman must have been in her 90s. She stood up and talked, and she looked like she was in her 60s, and she was vibrant and healthy, and she was supposed to be dead 25 years earlier. And that's the kind of outcome. So, yeah, avocados are okay for people who are healthy. Oh, and Dr. Esselstyn, he is really strict. No nuts and seeds either. No nuts, no seeds, no avocados, and most of the other doctors in the mainstream whole food plant-based community, you're supposed to have some nuts. Nuts are good for brain health, but for somebody with extreme cardiovascular disease, according to Dr. Esselstyn, you don't want to have it. And he's proved it, and it's undisputable. And it's just crazy that the world doesn't know about it. And that's my mission. My mission is to help the rest of the world find out. So we're doing the survey. We did it at Health. Please, if you've benefited from a whole food plant-based lifestyle, we really need you to answer the simple one question survey. And to get us started, we just launched it. We don't have the numbers yet. We have 150 or so people who've answered the survey. The outcomes are amazing. I've shared some of it with people. Just the other day, I was talking with a woman, and she was telling me how her skin flared up, and she doesn't know what to do with it. Well, it just so happens that out of our 150 people, I'm guessing we have about 50 people who claim that their skin condition cleared up. And so she says, wow, you have that? And so I got her attention. And that's the idea of the scoreboard. The purpose of the scoreboard is to be able to ignite somebody's curiosity, to be able to say, well, and eventually we'll have 1 million people on there, to be able to say, hey, 500,000 people reverse cardiovascular disease. Say that to somebody who's suffering and struggling. And I hope, and I intend, and I think we will ignite curiosity and hope. And that's the mission of the survey. Yeah, you look
Oh,
like you could say something.
I will. To me, some of the strangest things about marketing something is getting people to do it,
Hmm.
right? And outside of like begging or standing over them and being like, here, answer this question, right? Which is part of the reason I was like, come to our events, is like you can, when they're standing in front of you, it's hard for them to walk away.
There
It's like
was well,
it's going to take you 30 seconds. I mean, it's not going to take you a lot of time to go on. It's a one question survey. You click. You literally have to enter your email and your name and like click buttons.
right.
That's it, and then click done. That's it. I just find it so interesting because it's like trying to get people to like your YouTube channel.
Hmm.
It's like one click.
One click.
If you like never watch it, that's okay. You just kind of benefit us by going and subscribing to it. And if you care enough, just take that moment to do it. Like if you care enough, even if you don't care about this whatsoever, you care enough about the movement, about facilitating
Absolutely.
change, about helping people's health, about creating like a world that won't die because, you know, we're eating animals and global warming and climate change. And you know, it, these little things, as much as you don't think they can make a difference, the goal that you're doing is trying to make that difference. So why not support that
Yes.
in whatever anyone is doing? Like it, share it, comment nicely,
Yes.
you know, and just support it all, because we're all community that, one, needs to do better as a community, and two, we have the time. I don't care how busy you are, and I'm like one hell of a busy person, but I still find the time to get on the phone with people that ask me to get on the phone, email, write a. I was asked to write a. I've asked to write two reviews actually this week. One went by text like an hour ago. The other one I haven't even. He doesn't even know I've read it, but I've read it. But I didn't show that I read it. So I was like, okay, but I have to fit that in as something else I can do, because it's important. It's just important to just be good to other people and the animals and the planet and like all of that. It's just, and help things like this to thrive, because the end result benefits the whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for people who fill out our survey, that's really just the beginning. What what I'm wanting to do is, I think we've all had the experience where we see somebody who's not as healthy as they could be. We really care about them. We really see them being 100 pounds overweight, or see them on 10 different meds. We see them with aches and pains, and we really care about these people. And that's really my bigger mission, is how can we help our friends and loved ones. And that's the big mission. That's what got the idea started for me. So I'm thinking that, again, if we can tell a friend or loved one that, 300,000 people reverse type 2 diabetes, or whatever it is that's ailing them, uh, our mission is to really figure out how we can communicate with them. How can we support our friends and loved ones? How can we get them curious? How can we get them hope? So we haven't launched it yet, but what's in the works, coming up soon for testing, is an entire platform, and it's a social platform that will be exclusively for whole food, plant-based, and vegan and environmental groups, and where it's going to be, somebody would be able to have a profile. But in addition to the traditional profiles that we get on Facebook and LinkedIn and elsewhere, we have what we're calling the Inspiration Center. So essentially, it's all focused on how can we easily, quickly get little bits of information to people who we care about. So we're bringing in a psychologist. We're looking to to learn about how do we communicate, how do we motivate, how do we not push and alienate people. So further on, deeper, we're going to get into this whole thing. I know all of us, as whole food, plant-based vegans, all of us, we have pissed off everybody we know. So let's change that. Let's turn that around. So with the Inspiration Center, our goal is to ignite curiosity and ignite hope for people. So people who think, oh, I have to go around all my life with aches and pains and be obese and have all these issues. Uh, thank you, Bruce. And yeah, Bruce, please make sure you do fill out the survey for us and pass the word. You know, we can get to 1 million people on the survey, and 1 million will be huge. I mean, I have a vision for the survey being up on Times Square on the billboard there, and being the ticker on news feeds. And but let's take it a step further. So now it's a first talking point to tell somebody how many people are benefiting. But then with the social platform and the Inspiration Center, we'll be able to identify our loved ones, identify what their interests are and what their challenges are. So, for example, I like to use fictitious Uncle Joe as my example. So, I have Uncle Joe. I set him up in my Inspiration Center. And I know, okay, so Uncle Joe likes politics and sports, and he's obese and he's challenged with type 2 diabetes. Now, as I spend my time on the social platform and I see information, so the social platform then will contain information, posts, recipes, studies, events, documentaries. So all the regular posts that you'll see everywhere else. But I'll be able to look at it, and if I see something where it says the next mayor of New York City is vegan and Uncle Joe likes politics, I'll show him that. If Uncle Joe likes sports and the Titans are plant-based, I'll show him that. And if I have this testimonial, I see a testimonial where somebody lost 200 pounds and reversed their type 2 diabetes, I'll show them that. So I'll be able to, with the Inspiration Center, be able to very easily, with a couple clicks, send Uncle Joe an email with snippets of information that hopefully he'll be interested in. And as I do this, and I'll follow up with him, so my job as an ambassador will be to get Uncle Joe curious and interested and hopeful, and then the rest of the platform will be a gateway to the community, a gateway to all the information and all the resources that can help somebody and support somebody through their journey as they improve their health and take care of the world and the animals and the planet. So that's our big goal is to be able to have one platform where we can get somebody curious and then pass them off to all the magnificent doctors and health coaches and yoga studios and get them to coming to Vegfests and events and mingle with people and make new friends and go down this magnificent journey for health and well-being and joy.
Well, we spoke previously about this, and I feel like it'll be a great idea. And it's like I want to call it a vegan Facebook, because it won't be drama and and like all the BS that happens on here now. But don't block me, Facebook. So but I mean, as divisive, I guess the word is divisive, right? But then again, there's a lot of divisiveness amongst vegans. But the ultimate goal is all of us know people and love people that are not vegan or plant-based. We all know people that, so what's the first thing that happens when you tell someone you're vegan? The first response you get from the other person is, well, I don't really eat that much meat. Right? Yeah, I maybe some fish, a little bit of chicken, but I really don't eat a lot of red meat. It's almost ad nauseum the response that I get when I say I'm vegan, just to a perfect stranger. And it's funny to me because I want to say, like you're saying exactly what everybody else says to me. It's almost because we almost feel uncomfortable psychologically. We do that. We do that so that for the person we're talking to, we can have some common ground, as opposed to being like, well, I'm like such a meat eater that I'm a carnivore, so let's talk about that, and then you kind of like put off the person you're talking to, so it's not the smartest decision of where to go. So, But that's what people naturally instinctively do when they're talking to someone. They always, no matter what it is, it could be something other than veganism. It could be, I love winter, and the person would be like, well, winter's not my favorite. I kind of like it, but I kind of prefer spring, but winter's okay. It's like, and they could hate winter, because they're human beings, and that's kind of like what we do. So, but the goal is to kind of bring people into the fold as easily and what's the word I'm going to look for? These are harder when I do them later at night because my brain's not functioning as well as it does at like 4 p.m. Without pretense, without being pretentious, is with caring and understanding, with also the understanding if the person says stop, that you'll stop, or like asking them first, can I add you to my inspiration team? Yeah, I'm an ambassador for this. I'd love to add you to it. I'm going to send you stuff that I feel like you may be interested in, or even you can create a survey for your ambassadors to send to people to say, what are your interests? Is this something that I can sign you up for or add you to? Hey, do you want to become part of my team? Right? So there's the love, let me support you thing that we already discussed. And then you send a survey that says, what are your interests? So that
Mhm.
I only send you things that you may want to open and read.
Absolutely.
Did you have that? Or did I just come up with that?
Yep, absolutely. That's yes, and so that's when we create somebody who we'd like to inspire. When we set up, and currently I'm using the word profiling them, and I really don't like that. I'd love to have a better better term for that, but we'll profile them. So here's Uncle Joe, and here's his interests, and here's his challenges, and he, he's kind of curious, or maybe he's just like don't want to hear anything about it. So try and get as much of a sense of who he is, what will really inspire him and get him to light up. And and I believe that this is a tool that everybody should have. Everybody who'd like to help somebody else, inspire somebody else for a better life. This should be available to everybody. I had a situation actually today where I just met somebody. It was a business connection, and I just met him, and he doesn't know anything about vegan or whole food, plant-based or health or anything like that. And I'm telling him a little bit about the business, and he says, well, you know what, I'm not so concerned about heart disease and diabetes, but in my family there's a lot of Alzheimer's. I go, yeah, well, you know what? I sent him an email. There's a doctor that I recently ran across. He and his wife, Dr. Sherzai, and he and his wife, they're leading research at Loma Linda University, and they have all kinds of things. His wife is an MD also, but she does cooking stuff. And so I sent him that, and hopefully he'll say, wow, you know what, there's hope for me. And I just because my family's had it, there's hope for me. I don't have to have it. I can just change my diet and take care of myself. And then of course I sent him Dr. Greger's. I went on Dr. Greger's site, and it's like this guy never thought that there was anything about food and Alzheimer's. And so I went on Dr. Greger's site, and I did a search, and I sent him the link to the page, but Dr. Greger has, I don't know what it was, like 50 different videos and 80 different blogs about it. And so I sent it to him, and I'll follow up with him and say, have you looked at it? Do you think that maybe there's something here for you? And so if I send him something and then follow up with him, and maybe follow up with him again in a couple of weeks and send him something else, gently, slowly, with kindness, without confrontation, without pushing him, because his lifestyle isn't anywhere near vegan or whole food, plant-based, or compassion for the planet. He thinks he is, but but so I'm looking for a way to open some doors, get them curious, give them hope, and then I can show them the gateway to the movement and all those resources and all that information.
Yeah,
So
it's brilliant. Go ahead.
thank you. Yes, I'm brilliant. You're embarrassing me, but thank you.
You did right.
Yeah, I'm just Yeah, I'm humble. I'm just, I'm really honored that I have an opportunity to do this as a contribution, and I would just so be honored if, get lots of people to play with me. I mean, there's, on one hand, it's, the vegan community is maybe 5% of the population. The whole food plant-based community is maybe a quarter of that. So I'm guessing that maybe 1% of the world population is plant-based and healthy for everybody. Um, so on one hand, it's 1% of the world population, but on the other hand, you realize that's 100 million people, right? So let's find 1 million people who really care about showing the rest of the world that there's hope, and there's a better solution for everybody, for the planet, for everybody. So join me. Let's do it.
It's yes, we are begging.
We are begging.
We're not below that.
We're not below that. I'll do anything to get people healthier.
Well, it's true. We work hard. We care. We come from a place of compassion, and hopefully people see that and
Yes.
hear that. When they're
Yes.
watching or listening to this, or they go and they follow along.
Yeah.
And typically the people that start pushing and nagging and poking the buttons of the meat eaters, they're coming from a place of compassion too, because they see it and they go, wow, like you're like killing yourself with every bite. Why would you do that?
Why
But
would
we
you
can't
do
we
that?
can't go that route. It
We
doesn't.
can, because we really want to be successful at the end of the day. I mean, I suppose there's people who would really rather have a fist fight than inspire somebody, but those are not the people I'm talking to. But most of us would love to contribute, to do something good. I mean, it's like, I'm talking about our parents, our uncles, our kids, our grandkids, our neighbor, and so let's find best practices to inspire them, and that's what I'm bringing psychology into it, and looking at communication skills and compassion. And so how do we, I mean, I've had people leave the room if I start talking about food. I stop. So I need a better way. But I'll look for an opportunity. I'll look. If they say, "Wow, I just came from the doctor and I need 10 more prescriptions," then I say, "Well, you know what? We've got 800,000 people who've reduced their prescriptions. There's really hope. Maybe I can show you that. May I show you what this is about? May I show you a little bit of information?" And of course, there's tons of information, so it's easy
Yeah.
to show them the right information.
There's enough science to back this up.
Absolutely, and that's really the thing about the whole food plant-based movement, that it's evidence-based. It's all scientific, peer-reviewed, unsponsored information. So it's research. The doctors are doing it, and Dr. Greger is at the lead of it. He filters out the stuff. So if you see a study that says eat beef, and because it helps you with your health, and you take a look at it, well, it's sponsored by the beef industry. So yeah, actually, I was just reading a book, The Cheese Trap by Dr. Barnard. Amazing book. And he really got into this thing about, he went through it. There was a thing that came out that said that cholesterol is okay, and this is a few years back, and he looked at it, and it turns out that this council that put that out was heavily loaded with the egg industry people. So it's like sponsored. Oh, yeah. So, oh, yeah, eggs are good. Well, cholesterol is good for you. Well, yeah, that's sponsored by special interests. And so the whole food plant-based movement, Dr. Greger, that's one of his criteria. He looks at, his mission is to look at every nutritional study in the English language, and he filters out what's been sponsored and biased, and and the doctors who are in this movement, and there's thousands of them now, and then there's the lifestyle medicine American College for Lifestyle Medicine, and these folks are amazing, and they all these doctors. I mean, they are all very science based. Unlike any diet, unlike any other fad diet, this is science based.
Right. 100%. And the thing is about, it's not research. Like when you go onto the internet, and this is obviously very pertinent to what's going on in the world right now, you're not researching. Researching is what those doctors did. we are we are looking stuff up.
We're looking
and
so
we're reading and we're reviewing, but that's not research. Research takes time and energy, money, education, and you need to have a more in-depth understanding of what you're reading, because a lot of the science stuff is really scientific.
really.
But really important point is, before you even look at anything, who sponsored it? Is it peer reviewed? Just look at those two things. Because if it's not peer reviewed, just trash it. There's just
Right.
someone just wrote something and their peers never looked at it to be like, is this real or is this fake? Because anybody can write up a piece of medical jargon and then it gets debunked, but nobody goes that far. They just focus on the initial and not the fact that when somebody finally with intelligence and a scientific background looks at it and says, that's not true. But then it doesn't matter because of social media. And then who funded it? Like all the all these things that are like cholesterol, milk, dairy, beef, chicken, they're all sponsored by the industries. Sugar, nicotine, they're all sponsored by the industries, and a lot of them are backed by the government because they subsidize them, and they it just they all work hand in hand with one another, and they don't care about health. They don't care about health. They care about money, and that's pretty much it. And that, that's really important when you're doing your research to figure that out. And it's, I mean, it's just important. Or just go to the doctors that you can trust, like who are real, and not YouTube doctors, but doctors like Dr. Greger and Dr. Bernard, Dr. Esselton, Dr. Campbell. Those are like Dr. McDougall. That's a good top five. You'll get
Yep.
a pretty well-rounded. They all have different personalities. I've met them all. you know, I mean, Dr. Campbell's just a sweetheart. Dr. T. Colin Campbell is just a sweetheart of a man. And then, Dr. McDougall is just amazing. Dr. Esselton, I just said, I listened to him speak. And Dr. Greger is not as personable, at least in video, right? So it was interesting. So I tried to lighten him up, but he didn't lighten up all that much.
Dr.
and then
Greger,
yeah, it was interesting because he
he's
came on
got
to do,
the most interesting sense of humor.
but I guess that's it because he'll be on Thursday. I have a VIP with Dr. Greger, Dr. McDougall, and Celeste Rao. Will be on Thursday for our VIPs from our Greenville event. So I get to hang out with Dr. Greger for 30 minutes on Thursday. and
Nice.
yeah, it was just interesting. Because I like to get personal. I've noticed, at least, so before we went live, I was talking about his relationship. So, and I think he was shocked that I even went there because I knew that he was like with OK Cupid, and he was looking to, find somebody, and so I brought it up, and I think he was just like, "How is this? How is this even happening?" I didn't bring it up live. Obviously, we do that live now, but I didn't bring it up live with him. So it was. I mean, it's just all the different personalities. Or just and Dr. Bernard is amazing. I've had dinner that he hosted here locally in Raleigh, Durham, and just amazing. We're PCRM, obviously nutrition facts, and I mean, Dr. McDougall is the starch. Like, what's the name of his book? Starch. I have it.
Yep, bring it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, his
I thought I had it up here. I don't have it. Starch Solution.
the stars. That sounds
Starch,
right. Yep.
yep, Starch Solution. Dr. Esselton's son is with the Engine 4,
Yes.
right?
2, 4.
Engine 2. engine two. Well,
Ford.
it's easy to
It's
find.
a fire engine. He was
But
a
he's,
firefighter,
yep.
and he did some things at the fire station. Challenged all his fellow firefighters to give up all that meat, all that
Yeah.
manly meat that they consume. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's Dr. Esselstyn's son, and then of course Dr. Campbell, T. Colin Campbell. I mean, Forks Over Knives. Um, but that's my favorite is Forks Over
yeah,
Knives. So
and
the China
Plan for Your
study,
Nation.
and yeah, for Nelson, and
Yeah.
he's in it. Yes, Dr. Campbell's in Play Pure Nation, but plug for Nelson because we talked about him too, and he's on your website.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yep.
Nelson thinks this is a great idea, and he's all excited and supportive of our work. And and he has plant pure pods. So he has, I think he says about 250,000 people who are members of these pods. So after Plant Pure Nation, the movie came out, they organized local community pods and to help bring people together to have social opportunities and potlucks and watch documentaries and have conversations. So that was a brilliant thing he did there.
Oh, for sure, and he's just I just love him. So, which we spoke about. Nelson Campbell's been on, and I called him a gem, and I think I told him that. I did. I did call him a gem for to somebody else, and then I actually got to speak to him, and I told him because I just he's local here in our community, and I've said that before on here. The Campbells are here, and it's just so fortunate. Oh, hey, Keisha. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Keisha.
Yeah, so very, very fortunate that in this neck of the woods we have so many incredible people. But, you know, all those people, including, Dr. Campbell and Nelson and all the people in the pods, I need to just pass this on to like Elizabeth, who has a pod locally. Her and her sister, Diana, yes, have a plant pure pod, and it'd be cool for them to, and they go and they do like potlucks with the Campbells, so it'd be cool to get this out in their hands, or if they can distribute it to their mailing list, that would be amazing too.
Yes.
like you know what, I should make a note. I'll put it in my mailing list soon. Just bug me,
Okay.
please. If like bug me, if sign up for the newsletter, and if I haven't done it, I just make sure I do. It's just the events are a little, taking priority at the moment.
Well,
But
then, and someday soon, you'll be able to come to We Did It Health social platform and see all those events and interact with everybody. And we'll feature the events and we'll feature your wonderful Vegfests and
thank
people
you.
will be able to come to it. More
Well,
people. I know
that's
lots of
awesome.
people
Yep.
do. Yes.
Well, I know because your website is uh, not easy. Your website is being coded. So let me see what Susan has to say. Even with all the information, most of my family still won't change their food choices. Uh, Susan's in Asheville. She's part of our team, actually.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it is sad, and that's what we're wanting to crack is it's sad, but I think there has to be ways where we don't focus on how sad it is. We know that it's rare, but there'll be an opportunity to break through, and they'll something will happen, and it's just staying present to it, and this is what we're going to figure out is just exactly what the best tools are, what the best moments are, what's the best perspective. So because I promise you that, yeah, it's sad, but I promise you that sooner or later something will happen that that will be an opportunity to support them, and then once that door cracks open just a little bit, then that's what we want to be there for. So we want to uncover the best practices. So how do you hear them? How do you talk to them? How do you and then drip feed them some snippets of information to get them more curious about it.
It's a slow trip. Like, what's the thing called? It's so bad when well, I don't know. Forget it. It's a bad analogy. but but Peter, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's fantastic for to get the word out about We Did It Health. And it's really easy for everyone. Oops, that's the other one. It's really easy for everyone to go to We Did It Health to do the survey, the one question survey, which will take you like max a minute of your time. If you peruse the website, maybe more than a minute, but it's right there, front and center. Click to do the survey. Check out the cool website while you're there. Enter the survey. Let's get it to 1 million before February, which would be
Yes,
amazing. But
will be amazing. You
yeah,
know what? All it's going to take is everybody who filled out the survey to get one other person to do it once a week, and we'll be there before February. And then we'll all have this most amazing talking point. I mean, people will have to notice it, and will have to listen to us when we tell them all the successes and show them all the success stories.
yeah, that'll be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Even
And
better than perfect.
even better, be super duper awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that outside
Oh,
of the website survey?
yeah, so my email would be great. Email at peterg at we did it health. I would love to hear from people. I would really, really love to hear from people. We need all the help, all the ideas, all the effort, and I promise you, we'll provide you with the platform and the tools that will really empower you to help those people who need it, your family, your loved ones, people who really need it, and that's our mission. So help us figure that out. We all have friends and loved ones who we'd love to touch, and we're frustrated not being able to do so.
Yeah, that, and if you're interested in being an ambassador, definitely reach out so that you can be
Absolutely.
part of that core to start this,
Yes.
to help grow
Yes.
it and build it and move it forward. Kind of
Yes.
like you're just kind of like where plant-based plant pure pods was when they were starting. They were just like, who wants to start a pod? And
Absolutely.
some of those pods have 200 people now. So that's it all over the world.
All
And
over
that's
the world.
and this can be all over the world.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you
just
know
have
what?
to be
I
here.
shame on me. I didn't mention it, but yes, if you reach out and get involved early on, we will forever recognize you as a founding ambassador and forever show you our appreciation, and forever you'll be known as the early adopter, as a leader in to help spread this movement. Our vision is for a world where this movement has the traction that it deserves to have, and you can help us do that.
Right. And
Together we can do it.
yeah, and that's the incentive when you're an early ambassador, like you're and you get that recognition from the start. That's the that's what you need to keep it going. Because if you're a business person, then you want to have your name out there as many places that you can. And this is one way that you can do that. And one way to help it succeed is to keep helping it to grow. So and we always meet new people all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All
So
the time.
you just, if you have a way to reach them, reach them. If you have a newsletter, put it in it. If you have a website, put it on it. And, you know,
Oh yes.
yeah,
And as an added bonus, I'm just being silly. So the intention is when you go to the website, you'll see the ticker, and there will also be a scoreboard. But our intention is to be able to share that. So anybody who has a website, anybody who'd like to share the scoreboard, we're going to make that available. So you'll be able to have the scoreboard available on the site, and imagine a news show, your local news show, featuring the ticker of how many people are benefiting. I mean, that's coming, but we need to get those numbers up there first. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank
thank
you
you,
so much for
Helene.
joining me. I really appreciate it. It was good to talk with you
So
again.
much fun. Yes.
I know it really is. And it's important. So I think that's why we
it's
do this.
it's important fun.
Exactly. Just well, I hope you have a great night.
You too. Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Keisha. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for watching Virtual Veg Fest Live. We are back next week on Tuesday, I think at 11 in the morning or 11:30 in the morning. I'm not sure which. It is posted already. It'll be with Ryan from Wild Earth Pets. They are a global sponsor of everything that we're doing this year. And he's coming on to share with you how he started the company, who he is, what he is, in about 30 minutes of you learning more about Wild Earth. Super excited. He's actually local to Raleigh now. He moved to our community, and you get to learn all about him and why they're sponsoring us, which we really, really appreciate. So if you can go and follow Wild Earth, wildearth.com, Wild Earth Pets on social media, or Wild Earth on Facebook, that would be fantastic. Who is Wild Earth? Well, they make vegan dog food, supplements, and treats. And let me tell you, my dogs love the treats. They like really love the treats. So definitely check that out. And again, thank you to Revolution Gelato for sponsoring Virtual Veg Fest Live this month. Really appreciate them. Go to virtualvegfest.com, shop our vendors, and enter the contest under the contest tab to win one of 7 prize packs that we will pick the winners at the end of the month, or actually the beginning of the next month. And then we post another contest that you can enter again and get a chance to win. Now, remember, please do be kind to one another and to be gentle. Wear a mask over your nose, under your chin. I still don't have one up here, but it's like, let's kind of be smart. All of 2020, I spoke about, COVID and that there's a virus out there. Now there's like a Delta variant virus, which is more contagious and it's really causing harm to people and making them sick. And the last thing that we want is for everyone to be sick. And oddly enough, we're doing stuff in person again, but everything's outside and we're doing it as safely as we possibly can. But at the same time, we want all of you to remember to social distance and wear your masks. Don't breathe in each other's air. Get vaccinated because we believe in vaccination here at Triangle Veg Fest for their nonprofit. So please get vaccinated. Do what you can to be safe and be kind because it's a really stressful time. There are things happening to people this year that I've never encountered with like doing these events. It's a completely new dynamic, and it's not COVID directly, but it's the impact that COVID had on our society, on our economy. It's valid, and we need to support and care for one another. That's my soapbox for tonight. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you next Tuesday. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow for the Vegan Stew, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Join us. Great talk about being vegan and staying vegan is our talk on Wednesday with the women with the Stew Crew. We'll see you soon. Bye.